What's up, guys? I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never, and welcome back to another market update. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so as we stand right now, the crypto market is actually starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Bitcoin is back above 114,000 and Ethereum is almost back to 4,400. And if you look at something like BNB, it actually just broke all-time highs. You can see BNB broke all-time highs 25 minutes ago at $902.99. So the market is starting to show some life again. The main thing that I want to make sure you guys understand is that the next FOMC meeting is in 1 week. This is September 17th. And as of right now, there is a decent chance that we do get rate cuts. Now, to be clear, oftentimes we do see a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. So do not just expect rate cuts to cause a huge explosion for the market. However, historically, rate cuts have been very good for risk on assets. And obviously, crypto is a risk on asset. So if we do get rate cuts, then this could be the beginning of what we're wanting to see. So do not forget about the FOMC meeting. Now, if we take a look at the crypto fear and greed index, you'll notice that we are still at 43, which is neutral. And just a week ago, we were at 39, which was fearful. I still think that this is absolutely insane that we are this low. A lot of people just don't have perspective at all in this market. It was only back in April that Ethereum was $1,380 a coin. And as we stand right now, Ethereum is over 4,400. Even just when I started recording this video, it was under 4,400. So you can see that we're starting to short squeeze. If we come over and we look at Ethereum on the weekly, you can see that we are starting to push for a bullish engulfing candle. If we can see a bullish engulfing candle, then that would obviously be very bullish for Ethereum. If you guys have been watching my content, you know that I've been saying I would like to see Ethereum hold this 4,100 to 3,800 range. If Ethereum can hold this range, then I think it could be very bullish. It would be a textbook support and resistance flip, as we had initially put in a quadruple top off of this range. This was the first time we broke the cycle high. And as you guys know, Ethereum did actually put in a new all-time high barely, and this was the highest weekly close that we've ever had. However, when you zoom out, you could still argue that this is a macro double top. And that's why it is very important that we do see Ethereum get another leg up. Simply from a technical analysis standpoint, we would love to see Ethereum go into price discovery and definitely at least get above 5,000. And I've been saying for a long time, naturally, the better that Ethereum does, the better that the rest of the market's going to do. However, that does not mean that the rest of the market is just going to explode instantly with Ethereum. And a chart like this shows you that exactly. Others against Ethereum. You can see right here, Ethereum has been breaking out since April, and others against Ethereum have been bleeding since April. And this is the weekly time frame. It's a much larger time frame. You can see that this chart is starting to bounce a little bit. The RSI and stochastics are starting to push up as well. The main thing you're watching for this chart is to see if you can get back above the 200-day moving average. If it can break above this yellow line, then that could lead to a potential reversal. But keep your eyes on others against Ethereum. That's going to give you a pretty good idea of altcoin season, because that's what you have to understand right now. According to this indicator right here, altcoin season is 59 out of 100. But by definition, Ethereum is an altcoin. So you have to understand that this is counting Ethereum. This is counting BNB. This is counting Solana. If you guys are not invested in high caps right now, you really aren't noticing the breakout. And that's evident in so many projects across the market. Some of the projects that I have pulled up right now, like Mr. Miggles, like Cocoro, like Captain BNB, you're just seeing consolidation all across the market, especially for a project like Captain BNB, because you're just seeing major consolidation, especially while BNB is hitting new all-time highs. That right there just shows you that a lot of the altcoin market is not running. It's really only the high caps. But historically, that's how it's always been. We see the high caps run first and then money starts to trickle down. That's how profit rotation works. Think about it if you're an Ethereum whale. Why would you rotate out of Ethereum if this is what the weekly time frame looks like? Ever since April, the Ethereum chart has just been exploding. And especially if you're potentially going to put in a support and resistance flip right here. Why would you rotate out of Ethereum until this truly starts to consolidate? It is critical to understand profit rotation. Now, if we come over here and we look at Watch a Guru, US PPI falls to 2.6%, lower than expectations. So again, I cannot stress enough, at this point, it's going to be very important to watch the next FOMC meeting. Whether we get rate cuts is going to give us a good idea of the short-term market. And then I actually find a post like this very interesting 5 hours ago. India fears regulating cryptocurrencies would grant them legitimacy. And this is interesting because obviously crypto already has legitimacy. There are so many people that already know what crypto is about. And this is actually fascinating because a lot of people out there would like if they don't regulate crypto. A lot of people like the idea of crypto being the Wild West, because the reality is once a bunch of regulation comes in, it's very hard to make life-changing gains. So do understand that regulation is a double-edged sword. But honestly, that's about it for the update today. Just make sure you understand how all these macro charts form together. Bitcoin, Ethereum, SPX, Bitcoin dominance, others against Ethereum. If you understand how these charts work, then you'll have a better idea of altcoin season. And then don't forget that the FOMC meeting is in 1 week. But if you guys are interested in market updates and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend taking a look at my Discord. As a lot of you guys know, we've been printing in here this entire cycle, and conditions could absolutely start to improve again. But some of these projects you could have turned $1,000 into over $200,000. So if this is the kind of community that you'd like to be a part of, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. It'd be a blessing to have you in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about the market. If you found this content valuable, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.